the bus. Suddenly, she twisted her head unnaturally to look directly at Neha and let out an eerie, evil laugh. Neha panicked and called her teacher, but when they looked again, the woman had turned her head back and was walking away as if nothing had happened. "Ma'am, I swear," she twisted her head completely around and looked at me. Neha exclaimed, trembling. "Neha, I think you're just tired." The teacher responded dismissively. Just then, a loud noise was heard, and the bus came to an abrupt stop. "What happened?" "What was that noise?" another teacher asked, alarmed. "Ma'am, the bus has a flat tire. It can't be fixed until morning," the driver announced grimly. The teachers discussed the situation and decided to stay in a nearby hotel for the night. After dinner, all the children went to their assigned rooms to sleep. Neha, Pooja, and her younger brother Rohan were in the same room since Pooja always kept Rohan with her. At this point, Rohan still had the toy that had fallen from the woman's child. He had been playing with it non-stop and was even talking to it. "Rohan, put that toy down and go to sleep. You can play with it tomorrow," Pooja scolded him, but Rohan ignored her as if he hadn't heard anything. Annoyed, Pooja snatched the toy from him and threw it out the window. Rohan glared at her in anger and suddenly started screaming, "Give me back my toy! Give me back my toy!" "What's wrong with him? Why is he acting like this?" Neha asked, worried. "I don't know. Ever since we got here, he's been obsessed with that toy," Pooja replied uneasily. As the night deepened, the hotel room was silent, except for the occasional rustling of sheets. Neha stirred in her sleep, disturbed by a faint, eerie whisper. Slowly opening her eyes, she turned toward Rohan's bed. Rohan sat up in the dim moonlight, holding the toy close to his ear, nodding as if listening to someone. "Rohan, what are you doing?" Neha whispered, her voice barely audible. Rohan looked at her, his eyes vacant. "He says he wants to play," he murmured. A cold shiver ran down Neha's spine. The toy let out a small mechanical giggle. Rohan sits in a corner, crying. "That was my toy. Give it back." Pooja crosses her arms. "Rohan, that's enough. Stop the drama and go to sleep." Suddenly the lights flicker and go out. The room is completely dark. Neha whispers, "Pooja, I think the power went out." Pooja reaches for her phone. "Hold on, let me turn on the flashlight." She turns it on, casting a dim glow in the room. The light flickers briefly before stabilizing. Pooja switches on the flashlight. The dim beam illuminates the room. She sees Neha lying on the bed and turns toward Rohan's corner. But Rohan is gone. "Neha, Rohan isn't here." Neha quickly sits up. "What? He was just here a moment ago." Their eyes dart around the dark room. There's no sign of him. Pooja and Neha rush to the window. Their breath catches. Rohan is climbing out. They don't hesitate. They run after him. "Rohan, come back. If you don't, the teacher will scold you badly." But Rohan keeps walking, completely unresponsive. Neha and Pooja run through the dark forest, breathless, calling out for Rohan. "Rohan, where are you?" But there's no response. Suddenly, they hear Rohan's voice, soft, frightened, echoing from somewhere below. They reach a deep hole in the ground. Pooja shines the flashlight inside. Lying at the bottom is the same toy that belonged to the woman's child. The toy trembles and calls out in Rohan's voice. "Sister, help me. Get me out. I'm scared." Neha grips Pooja's arm. That's the same toy from the woman's child. Yes. Rohan picked it up when she left. But how is his voice coming from it? And where is Rohan? Before they can react, the toy lets out a chilling, piercing scream. Then, it vanishes into the darkness. Terrified, Neha and Pooja turn and run, their hearts pounding, desperate to escape. Neha and Pooja run through the dark, their breath heavy. Suddenly they spot an old, abandoned house ahead. "Pooja, let's go inside. Maybe someone can help us." They hesitate for a moment, then push open the creaking door. Inside, dim candlelight flickers. A shadowy figure steps forward. It's the same woman from the bus. She smiles eerily. "What are you doing here?" Neha and Pooja freeze. "This is my house. What do you need?" Woman said. Neha and Pooja, panting, plead with the woman. "My brother is lost in the forest. Please help us find him." The woman shakes her head. "I can't leave. My child is alone inside." Neha's eyes fall on the child's hands. He's holding a toy identical to Rohan's. Without thinking, she snatches it away. The woman's expression darkens. "What have you done? Give it back. It belongs to my son." The child in the woman's lap suddenly starts crying. But it's not just any cry. It's Rohan. His eyes glow red, his face twisted in an unnatural expression. Neha gasps, realizing the truth. She hurls the toy outside. Rohan, now crawling on the walls, follows the toy like an animal chasing its prey. The woman's body twists grotesquely as she transforms into a horrifying witch. With a screech, she flies toward Neha and Pooja. Neha and Pooja run for their lives, their screams echoing in the dark. But suddenly, Rohan speaks again. His voice, soft, desperate. "Sister, don't leave me. I'm hurt, and I'm scared." Pooja hesitates. "No, Pooja, that's not Rohan anymore." Neha shouts, but it's too late. Pooja runs toward him, believing her brother still exists within. The witch swoops down and grabs them both. Neha runs aimlessly until she stumbles onto the road. Her body collapses in exhaustion and terror. The world fades to black. Neha wakes up to murmurs and hushed voices. The police are nearby. Then she hears the most horrifying words. 2 dead bodies have been found in the forest. Neha sat on the ground, numb with shock. She could still hear Rohan's cries echoing in her ears. The police asked her what had happened, but she had no words. Who would believe her? That a toy, a witch, and a cursed child had taken her friends away. She was taken back home, but nothing felt the same. Pooja and Rohan were gone. The laughter, the warmth, it had all vanished. A week later, Neha's mother tried to comfort her. "I know it's hard, Beta, but you have to move on." Neha nodded absent-mindedly. That night, as she lay in bed, she heard something roll across the floor. She turned slowly. A toy lay in the middle of her room. The same toy Rohan had picked up on the bus. As Neha's breath quickened, the toy's tiny lips curved into a smile, and in Rohan's voice it whispered, "Sister, help me."